Yu-Gi-Oh! An incredibly complex card game with tens of thousands of cards. However, what if each set was separated from the rest of the massive card pool and your choices when building a deck were extremely limited? In this series, in order to learn Yu-Gi-Oh! From the ground up, I will be embarking on an adventure through the history of the card game with Jeexx. In each episode, we will have access to all the cards in a select product, and using only the cards in that product, both of us will build a deck before playing a best of 3 match to determine the winner of the episode. We will move in a chronological order in the series, and with each new episode, we will forget the cards of the past in order to experience something brand new. We hope you enjoyed this adventure through Yu-Gi-Oh! And its evolution with us. Welcome to the historic Yu-Gi-Oh! Learning journey. Hey guys, welcome back to the historic Yu-Gi-Oh! Learning journey, this time with Battles of Legend Relentless Revenge. We got Flying Elephant in here, we got a bunch of Golden Castle of Stromberg BS, and Living Fossil is here. We have Cyber Emergency and some other interesting stuff for Cyber Dragons. A bunch of Timelord stuff here as well with the Empty Machines, Infinite Machine, Infinite Light. I think we have had Timelords a lot before, but I'm pretty sure that these are... yeah, these are new in this set. Also have stuff like Dreadnought, we have Gossip Shadow here, Galaxy's Photon Lord, and another card a little bit later that there's a bunch of really good XZ stuff here. Topology Gumbler Dragon, somewhat hard probably for our series sake to get out, but if you get it out on your first turn, your opponent is just starting with usually -2 cards in hand, which is honestly obviously not a position where you want to be, so something to be wary of. We have Performage, PK stuff, a bunch of really good reprints here. Fireblade, Brilliant Fusion, Cyframe Driver even there, as well as some stuff for the Elemental Lords and Noble Knights. Also we have Merlin and Brothers as well, mid-roll for if Jeexx wants to go there. Unizombie, Gamma Shield, Dark Lord stuffs here as well. There's a bunch of archetypes present here, but if I had to highlight one card from the set, it's definitely Baguska, a number card, so we're gonna have that. We're gonna be seeing that a lot, I think, going forward, and it's just a big mass negate for basically the entire board, which obviously makes it incredibly powerful. So something to definitely be wary of in the future. We have the Solemn stuff here as well, Bottomless as well. There was Torrential and Monster Reborn as well earlier, so we have just a bunch of really powerful back row available to us in the set. And I'm playing Timelords. I've played it in not as a pure deck before, and I decided this is now time to play the entire thingy. Basically, it's a very simple archetype, which is kind of why I want to play it. Your opponent has a card, a monster, you summon a big dumb idiot, and then you can do stuff with the big dumb idiot. No battle damage, mostly focusing on control effects and burn. We have access to stuff like Torrential, obviously, which is really good in the deck as well. So without further ado, let's go through the deck, and hopefully we are not going 25 minutes this time. Starting us off, we have a Time Maiden. If you control no monsters, you can spell summon this card from your hand. This card can be treated as 2 tributes for a tribute summon of Time Lord monster. You can tribute this card on the board to add a Time Lord monster with 0 attack from a deck to your hand, and then you can banish this card from a graveyard to spell summon a Time Lord monster with 0 attack from a deck. Ignore its summoning conditions, but you cannot spell summon other monsters during the turn you activate this effect. So if you use the spell summon, you can then use the graveyard effect on the same turn. But Time Maiden does everything for Time Lords that they want to do. It adds consistency. It gives you access to all but one of your Time Lords at all times whenever you just need them. From deck, it gives you more stuff in hand. It's an incredible card for the deck that just does everything that you'd want it to do. The only Time Lord that we have here in our main deck that doesn't get added with Time Maiden is Sundial the Time Lord. 4k, gonna be spell summoned from the deck, and almost all of them share the same conditions where, first and foremost, they cannot be normally spell summoned from the deck, but obviously Time Maiden ignores those. conditions. And then if you control no monsters, you can normal summon this card without tributing, and they cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. And neither player takes damage for battle damage from attacks involving these cards. And then at the start of your during your standby phase, you shuffle the card into the deck. And these are effects that all Time Lords share, so I'm just going to talk about the unique effects of them. So Sundial, the unique effect, on top of being a monster that actually has stats, which means this can destroy other cards by battle. It doesn't inflict battle damage, but it can destroy cards by battle. It's the only one that can do that. And the unique effect of Sundial is at the end of the battle phase, you burn 2,000 your opponent for 2,000. All of them are their unique effects activate at the end of the battle phase if the card battles. Doesn't have the battle monster, but it needs to battle. So Sundial, just very simple, inflicts 2,000 burn damage, which is nothing to scoff at. On a 4k body that cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, so it's very hard to get rid of. Next we have coming on the Time Lord, 3 copies of this as well, has the all usual Time Lord stuff, and then the unique effect of this card is to shuffle a card your opponent controls into the deck and burn them for 500, sorry, I can't read, and then this is an effect that neither player can react to. Then we have Hylon, the Time Lord, at 1 copy. The unique effect of this one at the I don't know why I'm saying at the end of the battle phase. The unique effect of this one is to burn your opponent for the difference between you and your opponent's life points if you are lower. I'm only running this at 1 copy because like you have a lot of burn effects. So unless like let's say you have a like very bad turn 1 and then you get slightly like beat up on your turn 2, eat like 5k damage, then at that point obviously Hylon is going to be very nice. But other than that, like for the most part, this is like more of a crutch that might come up than something that we really want to be playing. Then we have Raphion the Time Lord, add 2 copies as well. The unique effect of this one is to burn your opponent for the attack of one of their monsters that you battled with Raphion. So very situational. If your opponent is playing like a lot of like big 3k stuff and stuff like that, obviously then it's even more burn damage than Sundial, but it obviously depends, and if you're swinging into something that wants to be defense, then usually it's not going to do that much, but still, like, very nice. Michion, very simple. The unique effect, battle halves your opponent's life points, so you can do 4k burn damage, and at later stages it's going to be a lot less, but this is something that early on you really want to see, because like just immediately cutting your opponent's life points in half, especially in a format with solemn cards, is really nice. Next we have Lazion, the Time Lord. The unique effect of this one is to shuffle all cards from your opponent's graveyard into the deck, and then once per turn, if your opponent draws a card, you burn them for 1,000. Obviously 2 effects, because the shuffle effect itself doesn't do burn damage, the burn damage is elsewhere. You just burn your opponent for 1,000 on the draw phase. But the graveyard shuffle, obviously against like graveyard centric deck, which at this point are just more and more and more, is extremely good, and especially in a format where we have access to Foolish Burial. Something like Lazion is like probably going to get a lot of value, obviously depending on what Jeexx ends up playing. And then we have Metalfoes, the Time Lord. The unique effect of this one returns as many monsters on the field as possible to the hand for both players, other than Metalfoes itself, and your opponent gets burned for 300 for each card returned. And our final Time Lord that we're running is a single copy of Zaphion. At the end of the battle phase, the unique effect shuffles all spell traps your opponent controls into the deck. Obviously, like, Time Lords can be destroyed by battle or card effects, but still, I feel like a lot of stuff that you would lay in the background, especially like if it's later and Jeexx knows that we're on Time Lords, I feel like would be something that he would be able to use before this stuff happens, which is why I feel like this is a bit niche. But the interesting thing about Zaphion is this card is sent from the field to the graveyard by any means. You can draw 1 card. Like, basically nothing else has like these sort of effects. They all just have their conditions, and like Lazion is the only one that really has like a secondary effect, but like It's kind of interesting that Zaffian just has this, where obviously it's really nice for advanced draw, which I guess I'll cover here. Tribute a face up a level 8 or higher monster you control to draw 2. No other stipulations or anything. Obviously, these Timelords get shuffled back into the deck anyway, and then like we can get them out. But we are playing a lot of them at multiple copies as well. So I feel like just if you're not worried on getting beat up on your opponent's turn, because obviously this is not a quick play, you can't use this on their turn, like just instead of like having one of your guys shuffled back in the deck, like just instead putting them in the grave and getting 2 cards out of it, 3 if it's Zaffian, is obviously very nice. Slash draw doesn't do anything here, we're just running this for the name draw to get access to advanced draw. Before my hand traps, I have actually chosen Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries. We all know what Ash Blossom does, but my second choice is actually Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries, because we don't really care about our extra deck. And if you remember what I said about what's their face? Baguska in the intro when I was covering the set, like this being a mass negate is a huge problem for us. So let me cover Baguska here because I think it's the biggest target that we have for Winter Cherries. Depending on a situation, if we want to protect some of our back row, like calling something like Nightmare Phoenix is there as well. Because like the Nightmares and most of the stuff here, like the spider, I'll cover this stuff, but these are things that we can make. But the other stuff here is stuff that I just want to call off. Like we can't summon any of this stuff. I mean, technically we can summon the Nightmares, but like we're not going to. It's just here to call off Winter Cherries. And the reason why Baguska is so scary is, so once per turn during your standby phase, you detach 1 from this card. If you cannot, you destroy it. But it's a generic rank 4, takes 2 level 4 monsters. When it's in attack position, it cannot be destroyed by our opponent's card effects, and it cannot be targeted by any card effects. Not really relevant. It becomes relevant when you want to turn the second effect off though, which is while this card is in face-up defense position, you change all face-up monsters on the field to defense position and negate the activated effects of monsters that were in defense position when that effect was activated. It's just a mass negate for basically the entire board, kind of like a skill drain that you can just turn off. Like obviously if you summon it in defense, not on that turn, but if you're summoning Baguska, you probably want the negate. And then on your own turn, you can just turn it off by putting it in attack position. And now you have a 2100 piece stake that cannot be destroyed or targeted by card effects. It's pretty good. It's pretty damn good. It one of these single best like generic Xyz monsters period, like still run to this day. And this negation obviously to our Timelord is very detrimental. Other than that, like we just have like Tornado Dragon, Time Thief, Break Sword, Dreadnought, like we just have like good stuff here that I got the names or I got from the set. So we're just calling, we can call those of Winter Cherries. But almost always, like, we want to call Baguska first. Gumblar is very terrifying, because, like, we don't really have a way to get a lot of stuff. Obviously, we're not using a lot of star-like cards on our turns anyway. But if we get into a situation where we have, like, 2-3 cards in hand, and we're relying on top decks for our Time Lords, although they are, like, essentially half of our deck, it's still, like, I'd rather not end up in that situation. So if Jeexx seems to be, like, playing some super, like, turbo link material spam deck, then, like, calling Gumblar of Winter Cherries is going to be nice. And then I just have the Nightmares because, like, I feel like Jeexx is going to have these always. Unicorn and Cerberus are a lot less scary. Like, Unicorn is annoying, obviously, because it can spin our Time Lords, obviously, because they're not protected by targeting. They're just protected from being destroyed. And Phoenix, like, if we want to protect something like Torrential or our machines, then, like, calling something like Nightmare Phoenix might be nice for that. Sorry, very lengthy explanation for that. Other stuff in our main deck though is fairly self-explanatory. We have Call by the Grave because we have advanced draw, like Time Maiden gets shafted by Ash, so we want the one of Call by the Grave to deal with that. 2 copies of Monster Reborn, third one in the side as well. I feel like 3 would be extra, but getting back something like Time Maiden is nice. But even like later on, if we use advanced draw, like I said, on one of our like Time Lords, then getting them back with Monster Reborn is pretty nice, because obviously the stipulation is just that they cannot be spell summoned from the deck, but they can still be spell summoned from the grave. And then the new stuff, we have have Empty Machine at 3 copies, a Continuous Trap card. The first time this card, a face-up card, sorry, on the field would be destroyed by an opponent's card effect, it is not destroyed, so it needs to be popped twice. And once per turn, you can activate one of the following effects. You either discard a level 10 monster, draw 1 card, or if this is the only card in your spell drop zone, you can target a Time Lord monster in your grave, shuffle it in the deck, and then you can set an Infinite Machine directly from your hand or deck. This is the starter to like this set of cards, which is why we're running it at 3 copies. And the second part, setting Infinite Machine, what does that do? Here's Infinite Machine. So this gets activated by sending a face-up Empty Machine from your spell trap zone to the graveyard. Same thing, protects itself once per turn, and then once per turn you can activate one of these effects. Either you can spell summon a Time Lord monster from your hand, obviously very good, because if you're summoning one onto an empty board, and then you're summoning another one with this, like you're just doubling your Time Lords, which obviously makes things a lot crazier. Or you can target a Time Lord monster in your graveyard once again, shuffle it in the deck, and then you can set an Infinite Light directly from your hand or deck. An Infinite Light is the ending position for this. Once again, activated by sending the Infinite Machine to the grave. And this face-up card just straight up cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Neither player can now target Time Lord monsters you control with any card effects or return Time Lord monster from the field to the deck. So they get protected from their own like turn star shuffling, and also now they have protection from Unicorn as well. And once per turn, if you control no monsters, you can spell summon up to 1 Time Lord monster from each from your hand, deck, and graveyard with different names, ignoring their summoning conditions. Basically, you get 3 Time Lords at once, like, on the board. Now they're protected, they can't be removed by any means. Basically, you just win on the spot. Somehow, if you don't, that's what we have our, like, ranked and stuff for, but I'll cover that in a little bit. But, like, if you get through this sequence, like, you're just winning the game at that point. Triple Torrential as well. We can summon our Time Lords. They won't get destroyed by Torrential Tribute, but they obviously proc it. It's incredibly good. It's a control deck we're playing anyway, so a Shuhin especially here. And I'm also once again realizing it's reaching 15 minutes. I'll try to go faster. But luckily everything we've seen in our side deck we have seen before. If we have stuff that we can't remove by other means, we have Gamma-Seal for that, obviously as a Kaiju. Foolish Burial Goods to give us access to Foolish Burial 3 copies. I don't think these will come out, but obviously the machines need a Time Lord monster in the grave to get to the next step. And also, like, even something like Time Maiden going into the grave if you don't have Time Lords or the Time Maiden in your hand is very nice. This all like Solemn Brigade, Triple Strike, Judgment, and Warning. Obviously, like, Judgment is the best one. But I kind of like preserving my life total here, and Strike already like does a lot. And I think it's just iconic because, like, obviously this was the like Solemn Brigade at the time, which I think is just cool. So that's why I decided to go for that. And then the final 2 slot is just 2 Bottomless Trap Hole. It's just good. And like I said, like, most of this stuff we won't be summoning, so it doesn't really matter. But the 5 cards here that we can actually summon, and like I said, all of that is basically for the Infinite Light situation, are the spiders, which you're probably familiar with, but in case you're not, you summon Tarantula with 2 level 10 monsters, or monsters you control gain attack, blah blah blah. This doesn't really matter. While this card has Exceeds material, each time your opponent spell summons a monster, you burn them for 600. Once per you can detach 1 from this to destroy all face of monsters your opponent controls with attack less than or equal to this card's. Doesn't really matter. You're summoning Tarantula to climb into Pain Gainer. Pain Gainer can be Xyz summoned by using a rank 8, 9, or 10 Dark Xyz monster with 2 or more materials. So if you use any from Tarantula, then you can use it. You just use Tarantula to climb into this thing. Once again, similar, but this time spell card burns your opponent and then blah 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 blah. But now it cares about its defense. Once again, doesn't matter because this will only be used to climb into the 7 sins. You can actually summon this card by using rank 10 or 11 you control as material. And if summoned this effect, the following effect cannot be activated this turn. Once per turn, you can detach 2 to banish as many spells on a monster your opponent controls as possible, and then attach one of those banished monsters to this card as material. If this face-up card on the field will be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can detach 1 from it instead. 4k attack though, so hardly gonna be beat over by battle. So basically, you make Ravenous Tarantula, now you have it with 2 materials. You make a Pain Gainer, now you have Pain Gainer with 3 materials. You make a 7 sins, you now have 7 sins with 4 materials. You can then, on a later turn, you can detach 2. It protects itself, like, up to 4 times, and even at that point you would have a 4k beat stick. More likely it protects itself 1 or 2 times. You still have an activation, you D-2, basically banish your opponent's entire board. You get 1 material back on it as well to either give you another mass banish or to protect itself further. Basically, like, it's just an incredibly like good and consistent like climb that you can do in rank 10s, and basically in any time if you're seeing a like level 10 centric deck, which I guess isn't much, but it's like, I guess, trains and time lords, like this package is just very easy to slot in. Then we have a Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Super Dora, 4k defense, 3200 attack. Once per turn, as a quick effect, you can detach 1 to make a target 1 face monster on the field and make it unaffected by card effect except its own until the end of this turn. Usually just used to target itself. Better to go into Liebe when that comes out, but it's not out for us yet. And this is just something that I might go into, but the more likely ones, because like if we just don't win straight up with 3 attacks with our like 3 Time Lords, then more likely we're just making Gustav Max. Once per turn, you can detach 1 to burn your opponent for 2000. Very simple, but very effective with Time Lords. Like let's say we get like a Sandayon, Michion, and I don't fucking know, Lazion. Like all of those swing. Michion swings, your opponent goes down to 4,000. If let's say they're full life, they go down to 4,000 from 8,000. Sandayon swings, they go down to 2,000 from the 4k that they're now. Lazion reaches their graveyard, so they don't have place there. Then they would, when they draw, when Lazion is on the board, they would take 1,000. But like then in main 2, we use Sandayon and Michion, we make Gustav Max, we burn them for another 2,000. That's 8,000 burn damage now immediately on the turn. If Jeexx has gotten some life gain maybe, then Lazion is still there, like immediately when he goes into his draw phase, he will take 1,000. Like, Infinite Light should just win, because we have access to Gustav Max. Like, we have even this if we have like some troubling stuff that we need to take care of. So like if Infinite Light resolves, like I'm pretty sure we just win on the spot. But it's like it's basically an Exodia at that point. That just takes, like, you know, it just takes time. But like this is another card that, like, if you're ever seeing a deck with a lot of level 10s, I doubt there would ever be a case where Gustav Max isn't there. Because just on demand, like a 2k burn damage in your main 2, well, we do not want that in your back pocket. But yeah, that's about it. A lot of yapping, a lot of effects, and we'll see how it goes. I don't have really anything else to say. I think the deck is very self-explanatory, but hopefully we have some nice games. I can't wait to see what Jeexx is playing, unless it's Noble Knights, because then I rather would have not seen it, as we all know. But hopefully the games go well. Thank you for watching Deck Breakdown. Hopefully you enjoyed Jeexx as well. And afterwards, I will see y'all in the dueling zone.
So, we are doing Battle of Legends. Battle of Legend, not Legends. Relentless Revenge. Specifically, I'm playing a Metalfoes package because this happens to be one of the few times I think that are left when Metalfoes are actually reprinted. Because then they kind of just stopped because Metalfoes were not able to do shit anymore because Electromite ends up getting shot fairly soon after. But yeah, and obviously, like, this is one of those few decks. We talk about this quite often when our pendulums come up, but during Master Rule 4, this is one of the many decks that got completely shafted by the changes to the pendulum rule, like the pendulum summoning rule, and on top of that, it's still suffering from it because Metalfoes were essentially built upon the idea of, I pop my scales, and my scales replace themselves by doing some stuff, and that allows me to then essentially fuel my second hand, which is my extra deck, and then I just special summon stuff out of my extra deck, and I never lose resources in my hand. Stuff like that. But yeah, we're running PK Ancient Cloak and PK Silent Boots to have a rank 3 package using, well, Ancient Cloaks in the graveyard by like using Foolish Burial to dump it and then adding to hand Silent Boots, or adding Fogblade and then doing the same with like Silent Boots to add Fogblades. These two can be pretty useful, and overall they can be fairly easily popped using the Metalfoes, and they can end up in the graveyard fairly easily as well. So I think these two are pretty good to just have in here. We have Break Sword and we have Bamboozling Gossip Shadow, which are both pretty good for like turn 1 plays. Well, turn 2 plays more so than turn 1s, because PK sword is like that. This doesn't do anything if your opponent doesn't control a card. But whatever. Then we Trick Clown, because we have 3 copies of Foolish, and I think that's enough of an explanation. We also have Brilliant Fusion, so we can use this as a material with Garnet to summon out a Seraphina to get an extra normal summon and get an extra body on board, which then means that we already have a Link 3 on board, which is really good. Then we have Eater Millions, Brilliant Fusion, Duelist Alliance. If there's a card in your Pendulum Zone, add a Pendulum Monster, or Pendulum Spell Trap from your deck to your hand. We decided to go with Pendulum Dragons, two of them, and then obviously Luster Pendulum, which is a part of the Pendulum archetype, even though it doesn't have the... because of this comma technically making it so that it's not named... don't worry about it. Don't worry about that. Anyway, Foolish Burial Goods allows us to send a spell or trap card from the deck to the graveyard, which is what we can use it for Frogblade. We can also use it for counter and combination, which we have more copies of in the side. Then we have Solemn Strike because it's in the set, and Torrential Tribute. We have Solemn Judgment in the side because I was like, I would prefer to have Strike than Judgment, because I don't remember there being that many spells or traps that I really want to negate, or like monsters that I really want to negate the summon of, but I would like to have the ability to negate a special summoning of a monster or the activation of a monster effect. Yeah, Infinite Impermanence, obviously negate a target monster your opponent controls, and every card that is in the same column as this card if this was on the board, and if it wasn't on board, you can activate it from your hand if you control no cards. Gofu, Level Eater, Bismuth Gear, Garnet, Gold Driver, Steel, and Silvered, All Flame, Pendulum Dragons, Luster, Pendulum, Metalfoes Fusion, Foolish Burial, Counter, and Combination, all cards that we've discussed before. Obviously, there's a lot of ways of searching cards in here. Pendulum Dragon also Oda specifically searches for all of Oda's Pendulum Dragon searches for pretty much all of my, not all, but like a lot of the relevant Metalfoes cards, and then Arc Pendulum Dragon if it's on board when Oda's gets popped, or something else that's on board that has Oda's in its name gets popped. You can still summon an Oda's monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard, which the deck effect is pretty good because getting another 2.5k body on board, which is level 7, is pretty good for like big eye plays. I'm not really running many levels rank 7s. If I made this deck like a little bit more consistent and I cut a lot of the fat out, which I had to essentially include because I needed to have 60 cards to be playing Metalfoes in the deck, because Metalfoes already take up more than 20 of the slots. So I had to make it either fully commit and try to make it a 60 card functioning deck, or just be like, well, I can't play Metalfoes. So if I was to not obey the deck building rules, I think I would have more rank 7s and less like rank 4s and stuff. But yeah, then we have Luster Pendulum, Metalfoes Fusion, as I said, and all that. Then we have an extra 2 copies of Silvered and an extra copy of Steelen in the side. We have full Metalfoes Fusion, Ash in the side, Gumblar, Topologic Gumblar Dragon. Requires 2 or more effect monsters. If another monster spell summoned to a zone a link monster points to, while this monster is in the field, discard 1 or 2 random cards, then your opponent discards the same number. During your main phase, if this card is extra linked and your opponent has at least 1 card in their hand, you can make your opponent discard 1 or 2 cards, whichever is higher. Then if they have no more cards in hand, inflict 3000 damage. You can only use this effect Topologic Gumblar Dragon once per turn, and only once that turn. I think it is the only card in the game that mentions extra linking. I still think extra linking is like by far the most toxic mechanic that they ever introduced in the entire video game. But to be fair, this card is designed so that your opponent can have a zone open. So it's not exactly that toxic for this card. This card specifically. This card is like toxic for other reasons, but not the extra linking part. But yeah, Metalfoes Counter, Judgment. Oh, actually, because it's your main phase and not your opponent's, so you can just get rid of this immediately after. The heck? Alcahest. We haven't actually seen Alcahest be played, but essentially allows you to equip a monster your opponent controls as a quick effect, and this card gains defense equal to the original attack of that monster. Seraphonite, Orichalc, Lightning Shadow, Electromite, Mithrilium, Big Eye, Break Sword, Shark, Bamboozling Shadow. Once per turn, when an opponent's monster activates an effect, you can detach 2 materials from this card. The activated effect becomes both players draw 1 card. You can target one other number XYZ monster you control, attach this card to it as a material, transfer its materials to that monster. And then we have Dugares, Baguska, number 41. Once returned during a standby phase, detach one material from this card. If you cannot destroy it, this attack position card cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Your opponent cannot target this attack position card with card effects. While this card is in the face-up defense position, change all face-up monsters on the field to defense position. Also negate the activated effects of monsters that were in defense position when that effect was activated. Tornado Dragon. Once per turn, a quick effect can attach one material from this card and destroy a spell or trap card on the field. Malevolent Sin. Once per turn, you can detach one explosive material from this card, then target one monster your opponent controls and banish it until your opponent's next standby phase. At the end of the damage step, if this card attacked, you can make this card gain 300 attack, and if you do, increase its rank by 3. That about does it. This deck is, it's super clunky, but there is an idea behind it. There are some goals behind it. I think, there's an argument to be made that you should just entirely cut the Metalfoes fusion package from this, for example. You could just get rid of Metalfoes fusion and full Metalfoes fusion, and also the Metalfoes fusions in your extra deck, obviously, because they're taking a lot of space here. They're like 4 cards. Well, they're Seraphinite, so 3 cards. If you get rid of these 3 cards, you could fit in more rank 4s and more rank 7s, and even more links, which I think would be really good, because I'm not running the Nightmare stuff, because I thought, well, it's not going to matter. Like, I'm going to be playing, for the most part, Electromite for my link anyway, so... But that about does it. Good luck with the games.
What is up, ladies and lads, and welcome back to the Historic Yu-Gi-Oh! Learning journey, this time with Battles of Legend, Relentless Revenge. And Jeexx, are we out of 1 to 10? How excited are you about today's episode? Fuck!
What do you mean, fuck?
I flipped a coin and it landed on tails.
I'm not like particularly excited. I'm mostly just like looking at this, thinking to myself, I have made one of the worst decks in, oh my god, I'm so fucking good and handsome and talented. Like, it's actually insane just how good and handsome and talented I am. You wouldn't even know it, man. Anyway, I'm activating Foolish Burial.
Okay.
And I would like to double check my cards.
You can double check your cards.
I'm double checking my cards. I'm gonna send it to the graveyard. Oh, I can do so much bullshit. Let me double check my extra deck as well, just in case there's something here. Just in case I made something that actually works for a fucking change in my goddamn life. Oh, wait.
We're now hearing the inner monologue.
What if I just say I summon Gofu in defense position first, and then I Foolish Burial, and I Foolish Burial into my graveyard a fucking, what is this thing called again? A Phantom Knight of Ancient Cloak, and then I activate the effect of Phantom Knights of Ancient Cloak to banish it from my graveyard to add to my hand a Phantom Knights card from my deck. Is it okay?
That is fine.
I would like to add to my hand
or Silent Boots.
The Phantom Knight of Silent Boots. Yeah. And then I would like to normal summon a Phantom Knights of Ancient Cloak and special summon from my hand a Phantom Knights of Silent Boots. Boots. Oh my god, it's boots. Okay. And then God. Did these have a restriction on what I can? Yeah, I can only special summon for the rest of this turn except for dark type monsters. Oh, yeah, it does have a restriction. Yeah. Now I recall why that was pee pee poo poo, cuckoo caca and stuff. What does this say? What the hell? I've never read this card in my life. That's just cracked. I'm gonna overlay my. Actually, I can't even overlay these.
I mean, you can, but that's your extra monster zone.
Yeah.
I mean, you
I'm
can
gonna
just make something with the Go for the tokens.
To summon out
3.
Gaia Saber, the Lightning Shadow.
Yippee!
Yippee! Because it's Shadow, so go for the Ring Shadow. Yippee! So cool. Then I would like to activate from my hand a Metalfoes Gold Driver to pop my token.
Go for it.
And I would like to set from my deck a Spell Trap, Metalfoes Spell Trap.
Yep.
This is not ashable. This is Ghost Ogribble, but it's not ashable specifically. Very important distinction.
I assure you, if I had Ash, I would have most likely used it way back already.
I see. So you didn't believe, didn't trust, didn't. Okay, I see how it is. I will add to my hand a Metalfoes counter. Oh, set. Sorry, not add.
Yeah, it's Metalfoes
sets.
sets.
Yeah.
So.
And then I set it here.
Ready to destroy by battle card effects, special monster at the turn. You can banish this from your graveyard too. Okay.
Yeah, and then I would like to set another card and pass. I didn't remember to put synchros in. I put a couple of too many different cards in. I was supposed to put like level 8 synchros in as well for Gofu and PK stuff.
Yep.
But like this turn would have gone a lot harder if I didn't have to play by Master Rule 4.
Yep.
Which is cracked.
Well, for me, I am not here to adhere to Master Rule 4. I'm here to the surprise of absolutely nobody. I'm here to normal summon without tributing Sandaya the Time Lord.
Yeah.
The summon is fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just attempt to swing over Gaia Saber.
This does destroy by battle.
Yeah,
right?
it does destroy by battle, but you just neither player takes any battle damage.
Yeah, so Gaia Saber Lightning Shadow gets destroyed, and I would like to activate the effect of Metalfoes counter to spell summon from my deck a Metalfoes monster.
Yep, that is fine.
I think this is okay. Okay, I would like to special summon out rare Metalfoes Bismu Gear.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you can just pop that. Yeah. End of battle phase, you will take 2,000 burn.
I take 2,000 burn.
I go. Main 2. I don't love it. But I would like to, in my main 2, advance a draw.
Okay.
Is this okay, or do you have an F?
That is okay.
Okay, I will draw.
I have no cards in hand, bro.
you never know.
Okay. Okay.
Spatial Shaman. Time Maiden.
What does it say?
You can tribute it to add a Time Lock monster with basically 0 attack, so anyone except Sandayan from your deck to your hand.
Okay.
And I would like to attempt to use that effect.
Yeah.
And
It's a cost of tribute, so there's no way to counter it without having a solemn origin.
And I think I would want to. That doesn't really matter now. Ho ho. I'm kind of between. Nah, I'll go for Michion.
Okay. Michi. Damn.
Yep. And then I'll set from pass.
Oh my god. Okay, stand by main. Activate the effect of Phantom Knights of Silent Boots to banish it from my graveyard. I would like to add a Phantom Knight spell trap from my deck to my hand.
That is fine.
Okay, I will be adding to my hand a Phantom Knight's Fog Blade. I didn't remember to do this last turn because I realized that it doesn't lock me out of using this even though I used Ancient Cloak.
Yep.
Then, I would like to activate the effect of Gold Driver to pop my Bismu Gear.
Yep, and then this gives you a monster during the end phase. Yep, that is fine.
Oh, double checking. Yes, I would like to pop my Bismu Gear. So oh yeah, it activates now. That's the good part. Yeah, activate Gold Driver. I pop this. I set a card. I set specifically a Metalfoes card. I shall be setting a Metalfoes spell or trap card, either or.
Yep.
I will be setting to my spell and trap zone Metalfoes combination.
We must say you can target myself special. Okay.
Yeah, and then I would like to activate the effect of Metalfoes counter to add to my hand rare Metalfoes Bismuth gear from the top of my deck.
Yep.
Yep, and then I would like to activate rare Metalfoes Bismuth gear.
This is now an 8 and a 1.
Yep, and honestly, I don't think this does much here. I remember this adding it immediately, but yeah. Unfortunately, I shall only be setting one, and then pass.
Alright. Well, you know I have Michi, so I would be very surprised if that is not exactly Fogblade. I guess we'll start with this. I would like to discard from my hand a card that I don't think we've seen yet. Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries.
Yeah.
And I would like to reveal from my extra deck a Nightmare Phoenix. And then I would like to banish all copies of your Nightmare Phoenix and also see what you're working with there.
Then yeah, whatever.
Alright, 2 Electromite.
If you do this again to
nobody.
Electromite, I scoop immediately.
Oh, trust me, I'm not running Electromite. I didn't want to put in a silver bullet for a specific deck.
Mm-hmm.
I do have stuff, but... Okay, cool. Thank you. Yeah. Then I would like to normal summon, since you control a monster. And I do not.
I forgot to add the Metalfoes, by the way. I'll add the Metalfoes.
Oh yeah, the end phase, yeah. Go for it.
I shall add to my hand a... where's the other one that is... This one. Silvered.
But yeah, then I would like to normal summon from my hand Michion and attempt to move to battle phase and swing.
Cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. You take no balance from card attacks. I'll just activate Fogblade targeting Michion.
Yep, makes sense.
Cannot attack.
Or be targeted for attacks. Main 2. I don't love it because it gives you the summon from grave, but I do still think that I will advance draw here.
Okay. And this leaves the field after you draw 2.
Yeah, I will draw the 2 cards, and I don't think it's worth it. Yeah, I don't really. It would be funny, but no.
Okay. I would like to activate the effect of, or activate Metalfoes combination, not activate the effect of it. Then I would like to use the effect of rare Metalfoes Bismuth gear to pop my Metalfoes combination. To set a Metalfoes spell or trap directly from my deck.
And then it gives you a monster. Yeah, that is fine.
Okay, I pop this, and then I set the Metalfoes spell or trap. I set Metalfoes fusion, and I then proceed to activate the effect of Metalfoes combination to add to my hand a Metalfoes monster from my deck. Is this okay?
Yep, that is fine.
Okay, I add to my hand
This is the longest time that a 0/0 stat line monster is just stood there on the board like a fucking trooper.
Yep. Yep. The main reason why it exists here is just so that I can pop it for the effects of like.
Yeah, I mean it gives you 3 bodies for free, so and can be like used to make nightmares in the clutch or whatever you need. So
yeah, the main reason why I forgot to really put anything that I could use it for was because I was like, well, I'm gonna put Seraphinite in here. I'm gonna make a 60 card. I'm not gonna focus on making this too consistent. So end result was this.
that's fair.
But yeah, I would like to add to my hand a Metalfoes Wall Flame. Then I would like to declare a Pendulum Summon. Summoning out Steelin, Silvered, and a Wall Flame.
I would like to declare a Torrential Tribute.
That is unfortunate, but you know.
Bit too scary.
And then I would like to activate the effect of Metalfoes Gold Driver to pop my Bismu Gear.
Bismuth Gear, that's another monster. Yeah, that is fine.
I pop Bismu Gear and I set my final Metalfoes card, I believe. Oh, this is not the right place for that.
Another
Yeah, because I don't have that many of the combinations stuff.
Gotcha.
Then I set it. I think the most annoying part is that they have to be face up, which obviously like it does grieve you quite a bit. But double checking. Battle card effects. I'm trying to win. Do these have to battle monsters?
The Time Lords?
Because they have to battle.
It's just battle is also attacking directly.
Yeah.
So they don't have to battle monsters.
And then I saw one pass.
If they had to battle monsters, you would just beat this deck by never playing a monster.
Yeah, that's how you beat Cyframes. You just set cards and you flip summon them. Because pure Cyframes don't have a way of dealing with a monster that is just set and flip. Because flip summon doesn't count for the one that checks for summons.
Yeah. I mean, normal summon Michion to go battle.
On normal summon.
Yep.
I activate Torrential Tribute.
Okay.
It's okay.
Yep, that is fine.
And I chain response infinite impermanence.
Interesting. All right. Michion goes to the grave.
Oh yeah, I forgot to add the fucking Metalfoes again.
Go for it, man. It doesn't matter.
It's anything other than Bismu Gear. So I add to my hand a Wall Flame.
Wall Flame. So, Wall Flame in hand to fusion set. Now I would like to use the effect of Time Maiden, banishing it and summoning a 0 attack Timelord from my deck, which will be I'm like so confused about the imperm thing. Maybe it's something that just
I literally have nothing I can use it for other than dealing with these things.
I guess that's
like
fair.
negating their effects is irrelevant outside of the fact that I can swing over them. Like
That's
they will get rid of themselves, and I don't have cards that are big enough to kill them.
Fair. I don't know which one of these makes more sense.
Like I'm playing with 3 spell and trap zones, and I'm playing a deck that likes to set spell and traps. Like
That's
the
fair.
reason why this deck doesn't ever perform anymore, like in any kind of, or like at this level, in Master Level 4, is because it simply cannot play the game anymore.
Fair. But yeah, I'll get Lazion
next.
and then the Grave would be shuffled. I have a couple dead cards, so I will just quickly.
I do too. I'm
side
not gonna
out.
bother citing anything.
That's
go next.
all good. I will get rid of this thing for this and. Okay.
Okay, I would like to activate a foolish burial to send to the graveyard a monster from my deck. Assuming
Never
is
seen this before.
Never seen this before. Completely revolutionary play. Well, I'll send to the graveyard Trick Clown.
Mm-hmm.
Pay 1,000, summon Trick Clown. In defense position. Then I would like to activate Luster Pendulum and Gold Driver. Activate the effect of Luster Pendulum to pop my Gold Driver to add to my hand another Gold Driver.
I'll ash this.
Yeah, that's GG.
All right.
Yeah.
Yippee. Was this the first time that we had Electromites?
No, the second time, but previously we had literally no way of playing Electromite because the set didn't have any Pendulum cards.
Gotcha.
Outside of like forcing a side deck full of Metalfoes cards, which is what I ended up doing.
Gotcha.
It didn't work out.
Fair enough. So you're just playing Metalfoes with like some other Pendulum
No.
stuff and then the Phantom Knights package?
I was playing Pendulum, not good stuff, but I was playing Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum, and Duelist Alliance to fetch for Luster Pendulum, and either of those if need be. I was playing Metalfoes with Gofu and Level Eater to facilitate XYZ plays, but then I remembered, oh yeah, I need to actually climb Level Eat at least twice, which is very unlikely to happen because there are ways of getting rid of it. The main idea being, okay, well I can pop it, but then once I actually started playing, I remembered, oh yeah, we're playing Master Rule 4, so I don't have spell and trap slots to be popping my stuff for free because I need to spend 2 of them to have Metalfoes cards.
Yep.
And then once I summoned the Gaia, I was like, oh yeah, this is kind of a problem because I can't get like 2 Pendulum monsters out very consistently the way that this deck works now because I would need to summon them out from the extra deck. Because this is one of those decks that specifically abuse the fact that, well, you're going to pop your Pendulum Scalers to summon out your Pendulum monsters, and then you're going to use your Pendulum monsters to summon out stuff.
Yeah.
The play that I would have made that turn would have been to add a Gold Driver to my hand, set the Gold Driver in scale, and then summon out the other Gold Driver, make Baguska, set Solemn Strike, pass.
Gotcha. That's pretty powerful.
Yep.
Yeah, literally.
I could have just done it with a normal summon as well, but I figured I'm just gonna need to thin out my deck because I'm playing a 60 card deck that has like 17 to 34 searchers.
Yeah, gotcha.
So I want to thin out my deck as much as possible so I draw into the cards that I cannot search out.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, the stuff that I was playing, because I didn't want to like put winter cherries in for like a silver bullet, like I said. So I just had for like, obviously I'm playing like level 10, so I had like 2 Gustav Maxes, 1 Super Dora, and then I just had the spiders, and then the rest of the stuff was just like good XYZ cards, the 3 nightmares, and then Gunpowder Dragon, because I don't remember if we talked about it on tape, but I do remember like saying that I do not want to see Gunpowder Dragon. So even though it's like hard to pull off, I was still like, just in case like you come in here with some bullshit, I'd like to have winter cherries for it. But obviously like it doesn't really, I guess like if you're doing like, you can do it mid combo if you open it, but like if you don't open it and you're starting hand and your opponent just goes Gunblood, then you're probably just smoked. But I also figured that Timelords isn't that bad, because as long as you find one Timelord, you're doing stuff. But mostly it was just there that the first time I get it out, I'm either gonna call Bakuska or Phoenix, depending on if I am worried about my back row or not. Because obviously, Bakuska kind of smokes the entirety of the Time Lord stuff, so that's why it was kind of scary. So that was, it was mostly for there, but obviously, like, I called Phoenix there because, like, the torrential was essentially what I was banking on. But apart from that, like, it's obviously a very usual Time Lord thingy. Like, torrentials are really good. I'm playing 3 of them. I had some other stuff in the side, couple trap holes, and then I had like the solemn package as well, like triple strike, 1 judgment, 1 warning. Obviously, like, you can run more judgment, but I think, like, at the time when this set came out, like, it was the Solemn Brigade, which I don't think, like, we've ever talked about, which was, like, some of the stuff, like, Judgment was limited, and some other stuff obviously was on the limited list, so I think at the time it was, like, Warning at 1 and Judgment at 1, and Strike was unlimited, so it was, like, 3 Strike, 1 Warning, 1 Judgment. Like, the ratios ended up going nicely with the other stuff that was in my side, so I was like, you know, that's kind of cool to, like, pay a little bit of homage to, so I did that, and then I just had 1 slash draw in to get advanced draw, which is obviously really good for the deck. And I opened in the first game, I opened in my first hand, I opened the 1-off copy of slash draw. That is obviously that card in my deck, as well as the 1-off copy of Infinite Machine that doesn't do anything unless I get one of the 3 empty machines out first. So that was kind of funny, but it ended up working out, because Sunday is big, and once you get stuff going, then you can just do stuff. But we've seen Time Lords before, and there's, like, nothing crazy about it. It's, you normal summon a big fucking idiot that's hard to get rid of, and then it does annoying stuff, and yeah.
I think Time Lords are one of the worst archetypes in the game.
That's fair, because I don't, like, they're probably, like, not super exciting to play against, because if they get to do their stuff, like, the game slows down to a crawl, and it just becomes a, like, grind fest, and if you stop the 1 summon, then Time Lords just don't do anything. I think, like, conceptually they're cool, but, like, in execution, I can definitely see that. It's very simple to pilot, which is what I like, because, you know, I like the stuff where I don't need to think. Yippee. Wow. But apart from that, like, I don't think there's anything crazy to talk about here, because, like,
in this set, I would say that the only things that are, like, actual standouts from this set are things like, obviously, Babushka and Bamboozling Shadow, because I think these are the first prints of them. Yeah, Bamboozling Shadow, something that I was even playing with the main intention of running it with the PK package, but I realized when I was about to summon it, oh, wait, no, I can't run that. Oh yeah, if I summon it, I can't play the game.
Yep.
I
think that's the,
I'm
like,
fucked.
obviously it's annoying. Like, Master Rule 4 is so annoyingly restrictive, which makes sense, because obviously, like, they wanted to highlight, like, the Link stuff, and they wanted people to play Links, but there's a reason why, like, we're playing it for a lot shorter than what it was in the actual game. But I still feel like it's, like, it still makes sense to, like, highlight it, because the difference that we're gonna see in the games, like when we're playing under Master Rule 4, and then when we transition into Master Rule 5, is gonna be very drastic. And it's also gonna be kind of cool, like, getting to play with, like, decks and archetypes that obviously at the time, like, didn't really exist under, because we're still under Master Rule 4, so maybe you can find something that's, like, pretty cool and that works in our format specifically, because we can play that stuff when it comes out under Master Rule 5, so that's going to be also really cool to see. But I like your highlights. I think, like, Bakuska, obviously, it is also a number card. It is a rank 4. We're going to see this card a lot. Bakuska is extremely good, because if you somehow don't know what Bakuska does and you skip the deck breakdowns, let me just break it down to you. attack position, don't worry about that. Well, you summon it, it's in defense position, everything on the field, all monsters get flipped to defense position, and all of the monsters that were in defense position when the effect was activated get their effects negated. It just, you summon a big dumb idiot that negates the entire board, basically.
It's essentially skill drain if skill drain had a body and you could swing over it theoretically, but the skill drain is just like, haha, fuck you, every time you're about to swing over it, pretty much. And then, obviously, it has a maintenance cost, which is it's not a maintenance cost technically. It's like a mandatory, it's state-based action, which is important. Yeah, because a maintenance cost in Yu-Gi-Oh can be circumvented on XYZ monsters, which is very important. So this card isn't like annoying in the sense that it's like unkillable. It's just for 2 turns your opponent gets to play for free.
Yeah, it's really more free of a skill drain. More free, more fair. Sorry, not free. More fair.
I would say that it's more free as well.
I mean,
you don't need to run it in your
that,
main deck.
But yeah,
because like it's a free slot in your extra deck for 1 copy of this, and it's a guaranteed skill drain as well if you're playing rank 4s. So
you can access it at all times, and it's and
you can turn it off.
Yep.
When you want to.
Because it's just like, I don't want the negation anymore. Well, now it's an idiot that cannot be destroyed by card effects and needs to be beat over, which is still like, it's fine, but the fact that you can just turn it off on your turn if need be is kind of crazy. You reckon if it only need the negation on summon, I think it still would be good. But obviously the fact that it's a modular thing that's doing it constantly that you can turn off when you want to is what makes it like insanely good. I mean, this has never been on the list, right? I don't know. No,
Baguska and Durgas are 2 like rank 4s that are like, Durgas is coming up, but Baguska and Durgas are both cards that have very powerful effects for what they do. I think even Time Thief Redoer is coming up fairly soon, and that hasn't been on the list. I don't think any
Time Thief is out. It came out.
No, it's not.
It literally came out. Was it in the special edition? I swear it's out.
Savage Strike. It's 2019.
Am I crazy?
It's out in like next year. Because I'm pretty sure Soul Fusion is we haven't even played Cybernetic Horizon apparently, if I remember correctly. Yeah, and Cybernetic Horizon should be the next set, I think, because this is July and Relentless Assault, Relentless Revenge is June. Yeah.
I'm sending you a really funny image. Give me your raw reaction to it.
Bro! Why? This guy out here cheating again? Man.
Where did I get the idea that this is out? Because I have no way of summoning this in my deck. It was literally here as another thing, because it's like, if you're not doing Gumbler, because I guess this also like shows the other stuff, like Tornado Dragon is just here for shits and giggles. I threw a lot of stuff here just for the hell of it. And then obviously Dreadnought would be if you're somehow playing a mirror, and I saw it after the first one, then the next one I would call Gustav Max. And then if you have an engine to go into Dreadnought, I would get rid of that with the probably third one. That was the idea there. Breaksword was the only like rank 3 that I could get, and I was like, all right, if you're playing PK, I would go for this. And immediately, like when you started playing, I was like, all right, I think I'm just gonna call PKBS off the stuff, and then you did Metalfoes stuff for 7 years, and I was like, all right, I don't think there is much of a Phantom Nice thing here, but the other stuff was literally like, because Unicorn is annoying as well, but after like Baguska and Phoenix, I was like, well, Time Thief Redoer is just really good in most cases, and it's kind of annoying to deal with, so it's just there as a good rank 4 that I can then just call off. But I don't know. Now I'm really curious, because now we've had this happen twice where I just get an idea of a card that I'm like, yeah, this exists, and then like it's not even, because we're like halfway through 2018, almost exactly halfway, right? I guess I can see. I think, because I'm pretty sure this set came like Relentless.
Wait, just to check.
June?
How did you even get this card?
Redoer?
Yeah, like
That's what I'm. Yeah. Wait. No. Am I?
because Time Lords are a compound word, for example. So even if it was out, I don't think it would have been available, would it?
It's off one of my because it's I think it's Time Maiden, right? Yeah, Time Maiden, because Time Maiden is time and then Space Maiden. So it's off Time Maiden.
What, Time Maiden isn't in the set?
Is it not?
No.
Okay, well then I just made a mistake. I mean, obviously I already made a mistake with the Time Thief, so I probably.
I was just got a bit confused because I was like, wait, but Time
this
Lords
is like
wouldn't give it.
literally dead space. Literally the end of June. It's almost like dead middle of 2018. But
Yeah.
I literally, because like obviously I don't use the extra deck myself, so I'm pretty sure that I just threw in because like Complar Dragon I didn't want to deal with. I put that and the Nightmares because those are just auto includes the Nightmares. So I'm like, all right, I don't want to mess with this stuff. I threw in Baguska and then the stuff that I just wanted to play against. And I'm pretty sure after that I literally just went to the what's his face, like XZ stuff that we got from the set and stuff that I got of my names, and I was just like, all right, what do I not want to deal with? And then I just shot those. So I probably when doing that I didn't consider the time period and then just made a mistake with that. But luckily it didn't come up. But yeah, that's my bad.
I had a similar thing happen when I was building the hero deck. In that, I don't know which episode, I think it was Duelist Saga maybe, and I put in Miracle Fusion thinking, oh yeah, Miracle Fusion is obviously in the set because there's heroes in here. They obviously always reprint Miracle Fusion heroes.
Oh yeah,
like actually printing them, which was like, oh, it's not in the set, and I was like 1 over the limit.
Yeah. I mean, so, yeah. Mistakes happen when it's not an automated thing, and like luckily it didn't really matter. I mean, just last episode, like you pointed out, we just had the what was it, like Widow Anchor or whatever, is like banish something from the grave, and you just banished my on board on field unicorn, and I just kind of accepted. I just kind of accepted that it happened. I just lost 3 resources and my body on the board for a card that definitely can do that. So we make mistakes, all right. And sometimes they matter, sometimes they don't. But, you know, it's at the end of the day, we're not playing for glory. This is, you know, a for fun series that we're doing to experience Yu-Gi-Oh! In a different way. So, you know, stuff like this happens. We can look back on it and laugh.
Yeah.
And
also, I think if I banished the familiar, was it the one that actually, when you summon it, adds a card to your hand? I think that would have stopped you from getting it anyhow. Which then would have been like, okay, if I realized how this card works, I could have actually used it legally to prevent you going from into Unicorn.
Yeah.
Might be misremembering.
But like obviously we're not taking this too seriously. We do a bunch of takesies backsies. We forget our Metalfoes monster ads at end of turns. We sometimes add card like I mean it's Time Thief Redoer. I'm playing Time Lord. Of course I'm gonna use cards from the future. I'm the time guy.
Oh, you're so right.
That's the idea there. See, it's not cheating, it's sticking to the theme.
True, you're so real for that.
Anyways, if anyone's ever struggling to come up with stuff to do, I recommend going through all 127 episodes of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Learning journey and finding how many times each of us has cheated. Whatever you consider cheating is up to your own jurisdiction. And I'm pretty sure that count would be a total at least in the 50s.
3 numbers.
I mean, for sure.
Oh, really? I was thinking like triple digits.
I mean, it depends. That's what I mean. Like, if it depends. Like, if we're doing takesies backsies, we're probably at 500. Because I feel like every episode we have at least like 5 cases. Like, oh, actually, can I do this instead? But it's like we're very much up there. And you know, I think that's part of the charm.
Yeah, I would agree. That's kind of the whole point of the series.
Yeah, you know, it's the learning journey. Whether or not any learning is actually happening, like that's remains to be seen. But you know, we're not doing stuff perfectly, and there is a chance that we do stuff better in the future. So you know, that's learning.
Also, as you probably saw when you looked into my deck, I had Brilliant Fusion in my deck, right?
I didn't look into
Oh, no.
your deck. It was just the
No,
extra
sorry,
deck. Obviously.
extra. You said Seraphinite.
Yeah, I
so.
saw it. Obviously, Seraphinite. Yep.
So the idea being I can use Seraphinite to dump Trick Clown as per usual, but in this case, extra normal summon is actually really relevant because I would like to be probably normal summoning my PK to go into, like, for example, Phantom Knight Breaksword. But again, I'm running into a problem here, aren't I? I can't be summoning PK's Breaksword if I have a Seraphinite on board without getting rid of the Seraphinite.
Yeah, and the issue is like apart from the like what's their face, the attribute links, like it's kinda still like tough, especially like with obviously like how much stuff you have in your extra. It's like, okay, you have Electromite to get like 2 arrows, but like it's still like kind of hard to get like multiple arrows. And obviously, especially in your deck, like the attribute links aren't even up for consideration really, because you have lights, you have darks, you have fires. It's gonna be like very inconsistent. So it's like, okay, Electromite is there, but apart from that, like it's so hard to get this stuff. And especially like when you get Electromite, then after getting Electromite on board, getting both Seraphinite and even with the normal summon, Breaksword all on board at once is gonna be very hard. So
I mean, for getting Seraphinite out, because I would have to summon Seraphinite first, which isn't a problem because you can use the Seraphinite normal summon immediately, and then you can like link Seraphinite off for something. For example, I can make Gaia Saber, right? Which is what I did for the like tokens. Which now that I think about it, I could have gone in the first game because it's monsters. It can just be 3 monsters of any kind. I could have just used go for the tokens to make Gaia Saber and then made PK Sword and then use PK Sword for stuff. But PK Sword doesn't really do anything, so I could just make Bamboozling Shadow in defense position with 2.6k attack, 2.6k defense, and then use that for things. But it doesn't really do anything against Time Lords because it's too small to actually survive getting hit. So, unfortunate on that part. But like obviously the draw effect on Bamboozling Shadow, which like we talked about Baguska, but like this card as a rank 3 is kind of menacing in the right decks.
Yep.
Specifically, the effect says you can attach 2 materials. The activated monster effect becomes both players draw 1 card, which is really good. It's a once per turn effect, sure, but you can technically make more than one of these, and it's you can use multiple of them. It's just software once per turn, and sure the card draw for you is bad, but the card draw for me is really good, and it negates whatever the fuck you're doing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like it's essentially like replaces the effect with something else. So
It's like there's a specific Dark World support card that
Oh,
says
yeah.
if your opponent activates a normal spell, you can activate this, and the effect becomes this.
It basically replaces whatever effect your opponent uses with, hey, make your opponent discard a card. And obviously the Dark World player hearing make your opponent discard a card is like, oh, so what you're saying is my entire deck is online and all the secondary effects, which are like if you discard it due to your opponent's effect, because it turns it's not the effect of the trap card itself. The effect of the trap card makes the effect of whatever you're using it on become this thing. So it's essentially your opponent's discard effect. So everything, stuff like Silva and the likes that like have the secondary condition where if you discarded a card by your opponent's card effect, you get the secondary effects, which I can't think like in case of Silva was like, hey, your opponent shuffles 2 cards from their hand back to their deck.
Yep.
Is like so the card that I tried to use, the Rhoda that I tried to use to add a card from my deck to my hand, now instead gave my opponent a body and made me lose 2 cards instead from my hand. So I went -4 instead of +/-0.
It's kind of brutal.
Yeah, it is. It's like it's cool in that it's like thematic, and it's a cool way to have essentially negate, but like in some cases it's very devastating, and that's also why Shadow is so good.
You don't really play it though, but
Yeah, I mean
it's mostly just because
it's cool flavor, but there's a bunch of like other good stuff that you'd usually play over it, but
Abusing Shadow is specifically for the fact that it's you can like reuse this effect fairly well, and it can be really devastating. For example, I summon out Terratop, I add Takendomborg, or you didn't ash me out Takendomborg, God, I'm gonna summon Takendomborg, I'm gonna Bamboozling Shadow, or you're gonna activate Ash on my shit. Yeah, thanks for the draw, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like, okay, sure, yeah.
It's flexible, and obviously, like, you know, drawing is never bad, and negating stuff is never bad. So, you know,
Exactly.
having good effects on an accessible body like that is kind of nice.
Yeah, it's also pretty big for what it is. It's 2.6K.
Oh, I was
Which-
gonna say like it's like 22,
difference.
23, but it's 26.
26,
I
yeah,
did not remember that. Yeah, that's very good. I mean, like, I think anything that breaks in my mind, like, still, even though we're in, like, 2018 Yu-Gi-Oh! At this point, like, I think anything that breaks the Neos Dark Magician barrier of 2500, I still is, like, is what I would consider, like, big.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. Like, when I think of rank 4s, most of them would never reach more than 2.5K. But then
Yeah.
you're like, oh yeah, rank 4? Oh yeah, Utopia the Lightning. Because that's technically a rank 4. Because you just fucking go into it from any rank, like
Yeah.
Utopia. And, oh, that's 5K.
5K that you can't do shit about.
Yeah, on swing, it just says, yeah, the game's over for you, buddy. Just fucking put the fries in the bag and fuck off.
The effect is you die.
You die. Well, yeah, overall, I think like this set is really high in power level. There's a lot of cards here that I originally like obviously considered. We talked about it last week. There's heroes in here, specifically Neospatians, which I did consider for it. Like I was legitimately considering playing a Neos deck. Then I was like, okay, but what if I play Noble Knights with Isolde, because Isolde is out, and I try to figure out a way to play like a decent Noble Knights deck at this area.
Yeah, I was expecting you to play Noble Knights, like fully transparent. Like I expected that.
I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, that's a cool idea, except for the part where you remember. Oh wait, Noble Knights with Isolde at this point in time are absolutely unplayable. You make Isolde and you stop there. Your turn ends there. You summon the card. You mill 4. You summon the card, and that's it. That's your turn. Why? Because you can't make a fucking rank 5 with like Mordred / Medron if you summon Isolde. Because you need to use 2 cards that you summon, which would have to either be you summon Noble Knight Brothers, you summon 2 cards, you make a Isolde with that, and now you summon a card, and now that's where you go from. But that doesn't really work as well as just Mordred effect, summon Boars effect, do this, make a rank 5. And now this rank 5 is unbreakable, untargetable, big, and kills you.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I'm sure we'll see Noble Knights in many forms in the future, especially now in the actual game. Like Jeexx can't play Isolde because
yeah,
she's dead in the mud.
So. Dead in the fucking water. In fact, perhaps there will be a set fairly soon where we'll be seeing Noble Knights. Speaking of sets that are coming up, what is the next set?
The next one is Cybernetic Horizon, and we are getting, like, now we're getting the sets that I literally, like, I remember I have bought booster boxes of. We're getting very close to the set which was when I started Yu-Gi-Oh! Well, I guess, like, started is a strong word because I was, like, never, like, playing like that, but like, it's like I consider still like legendary hero decks. I consider the set when I got properly into Yu-Gi-Oh, and I have been into Yu-Gi-Oh ever since that set came out and I got the set. So we're getting very close to that. But next we have Cybernetic Horizon, which it has some like cool stuff in there.
It has Glad Beast Link. It has Dangers, which is obviously something that we're never gonna be able to play after this outside of card sets that have dangers in them. Because these cards are absolutely heinous in their naming convention.
Yeah, good luck getting something that has danger exclamation mark question mark in there. Or, I mean, that's hard. You can find Chuchinoko, I'm sure. You can easily get that, or it's
but Chuchinoko has an exclamation mark at the end, because it's Jackalope, question mark, Chupacabra, exclamation point, Nessie, exclamation point, Bigfoot, exclamation point.
Yeah, but
So-
let's just say it's probably for the best, because it's like,
Yeah.
they're just a efficient and not very interesting engine that you can slam into literally anything, and it's not
becomes
super,
better.
Yeah, it's not super
better.
interesting. So the dangers will get their time in the spotlight, and like obviously they might peer their head in the anniversary episode, which now we're closer to the next annie episode than the previous one.
Yeah, which is gonna be in April or March next year, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we had
Yeah.
obviously, I think we like essentially a week because like we pre-recorded a lot for like your trip, and I think like it ended up being like us missing 1 week, so it should still be like around the same time when it's always been. Obviously, there are 52 weeks in a year, and we're doing these every 50 episodes for stuff like this, so it should be still like around the same time. But that is still a long way to go, and next time we have Cybernetic Horizons to think about. So
I have to say,
hmm?
the Cybernetic Horizons it sure looks very appealing. It looks quite noble.
Very soon is indeed very soon. But yeah, we'll see you for that next week. Thank you so very much for watching, and I now already said next week, so I can't use that again. So instead, I will just wish you the best day possible. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Peace.